And hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz and I'm here on the front lines. wwg1wga.love website. If you want to go there and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. There's contribution you can make as little as free, or $1.11 a month, $8.88 a month, $9.99 a year, or other amounts are there listed as actually if people said, hey, I'd like to give you this much, and I just want to make a membership for them. I should probably name them after. I just didn't even think about it. Special membership. Anyway, but that's anything there as much appreciative. Things are rolling along here. Obviously, I've also been working on the Kringle Gold site. We did do a transaction off of the blockchain, and that was fine. We're down to really just one little issue of email. Like you verify an email address and so you can do like a forgot password, that kind of thing. So with that, we're close to resolving all those issues. Then we'll be doing more testing. We've got a group of people ready to do tests, and that's all really fine and good as well. But a lot going on, as you know, on the front line. So one of the places that is most been on the front lines that I see is where they're attacking the Second Amendment. They want to do gun confiscating. Everyone was looking at New York and California, right, the big ones, but they were slipping into Virginia, right? But the Virginians are not having it. They're standing up, and there's such a strong movement there. And if you look at what was this, I'm going to show you a little video that was put out. Let me go ahead and cue that up for you right now. So this is basically, by the Glorious Patriots. That's their channel. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, but we're going to go ahead. But the main point is the governor ordered 10,000 body bags. Really? He needs 10,000 body bags? What does he plan on doing? Now this is obviously from the 12th, so this is right now. You go press play. So, public notice to subordinates and notice to superiors of website fiduciary to all law enforcement having jurisdiction over said fiduciary. No colorable contract or colorable agreement supersedes a lawful right, as notice constitutes a non-ex post facto reservation for all rights. All content, including but not limited to text, links, code, and imaginary found on this social media website are a matter of evidentiary lawful public record and constitute evidence and testimony. Any infringement or suppression of this account or post content in any way for at any time has presumed in law as actionable obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and or tampering with evidence. If such acts are made by those on behalf of the state governmental body, then it has also become an act of actionable official misconduct and abuse of office. Such an act by anyone is willing acceptance of all criminal liability, nullifying any perceived contract and immunity of the office, such that the perpetrator may be required to forfeit personal property. The choice of law of this notice is that of natural common law and is not subject to any fiction of law construct. This is not, I can't read it under the time here. Push play. Go on to. So this continues on, right? So litigation notice, right? Any action by YouTube or media or internet films negotiating to negatively impact the production of this video will be interpreted as a violation of Title 18 USC Section 42, 242, and 18 USC Section 1983, 84, and 85, and I reserve the right to file civil and criminal legal action against YouTube and its affiliates for attempting to suppress free speech, and will also be construed as conspiracy to aid such crimes against listed herein. So, you know, they're starting off right from the beginning of this video, right? Putting everyone on notice about don't censor us. Remember YouTube's union? Yeah, I caught a little bit about this YouTubers union, right? And they have some very significant case law that they're working from that really, because by them editing and suppressing the content or changing the content of our work, they, in essence, are treating us more as employees, and they would then thus need to act as an employer, and they're due to pay all these taxes and other things. That's one of their tactics. Anyway, that's one of the things they have here. So let's continue on with this. Let's fast forward to this. Okay, Revolution 2.0 is less than a week away, right? He's right off the bat. Here we go again, right? It's very strong. Unconfirmed reports that the baby-eating governor of Virginia is ordered 10,000 body bags in anticipation of civil war. The Patriots are going to be armed, but peacefully. There are also advanced recon militia that are going to do are going in to do threat assessment. Any UN troops who are spotted will be taken out with extreme prejudice. Okay, so, you know, first of all, you know, the governor, you know, this is news that he's ordered 10,000 body bags and anticipating a civil war. So they had just enacted. I put a video out. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, and it came out a couple days ago. That the government of Virginia quickly put into a ban in their capital, where the legislature meets and where the seat of power is, that you can't have a gun, right? Just prior to everyone coming to protest with their guns, which is a lawful right, organized militia. So they're impeding it. I'm going to go ahead and press play now, because the guy who put this together is also going to read this out, so I don't need to read it all. So let's go.
Baby-eating governor of Virginia is ordering 10,000 body bags in anticipation of civil war. The Patriots are going in armed, but peacefully. There are also advanced recon militia that are going in to do threat assessment. Any UN troops who are spotted will be taken out with extreme prejudice. Any law enforcement vehicles attempting to block access or egress.
Anyway, I just want to, you know, stop that there for a moment. You see what he's saying here. Any UN troops that are spotted will be taken out with extreme prejudice. This is a legal notice from a militia. Just pointing out.
Extreme prejudice. Any law enforcement vehicles attempting to block access or egress roads will be deprived of their operators and conscripted into the service of Patriot transport. Rural roads will be covered by sniper teams using commercially available drones to surveil the area for threats. All comms are being monitored by Patriots, including law enforcement organization phone lines and cellular traffic. Police and military helicopters that attack Patriots will be taken out of the sky by long rifle fire and a barrage of toy drones flown into rotor blades trailing strands of weighted titanium wire. This will cause enough damage to force the pilot into an auto rotation and remove the aircraft from service. Patriots will be using 144 and 432 megahertz dual band ham radios and are equipped to jam cell towers.
Again, I want to point out this is legal notice from a militia. Again, so it's basically standing up to say to the legislature against the government, which the Second Amendment is there for, right? Second Amendment is to prevent the tyranny of government. And so they're basically saying, no, you can't take our guns away. It's against our right. You cannot take our rights away.
There is no way these Nazi bastards are going to confiscate weapons. Even with the National Guard, they simply don't have the manpower. The governor is trying to scare the public by his nargless bravado. He might end up having breakfast in hell with his Italian Goomba Benito before this is all over. Many channels are predicting civil war. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. There is not going to be a civil war. There will be a revolution, which is a course of a different color entirely. In a civil war, the people fight each other. In revolution, the people put aside their personal differences and are united against a common enemy. The Fourth Reich neo-Nazis that usurped the Demon Rat Party want a civil war. What they're going to end up with is a revolution. 90% of law enforcement will not even attempt to take any weapon being carried in. If they do, they are not going to be tolerated. The National Guard is not going to move in. They will not comply and are outnumbered 20,000 to 1. Talk about a fucking Waterloo. There is concern among some of you who have called me about the use of bioweapons against patriots, or the use of UN troops, Antifa and MAGA attire, or even MS-13. As for the latter, these dipshits are tattooed and are easy to spot. They will be shot on sight and stuffed down a storm drain. Patriots are traveling in vetted groups. Any Antifa assholes will be similarly dealt with. The soy boys and social justice warriors will be in mommy's basement playing Call of Duty, wishing they had a pair. Patriots will be out on the front lines doing patriot shit. As for the use of bioweapons, it is highly unlikely. Where would pussies get a hold of bioweapons? If patriots were to be attacked by anything that can even be alleged to have originated with the demon rats, it will set off a national purge, the likes of which hasn't been seen since the final solution. They know it, and they're scared absolutely fucking shitless. This is the point where the president should act. It would be a simple thing to sign an executive order that reaffirms the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, which basically states that no state or local law can supersede the Constitution. Finito. All state gun laws rendered powerless overnight. They already are. And anyone who arrests a citizen for carrying a weapon but not committing a crime can be personally sued under Title 18 U.S. Code 242, which is deprivation of rights under color of law, and Title 18 U.S. Code 1983, violation of constitutional rights. The Virginia governor can now be sued under Title 18 U.S. Code 241, which is conspiracy to deprive a person of their constitutional rights. That, my friends, is a fact. And now, something apropos to the subject covered here. The Battle Hymn of the Republic by Parody Project YouTube channel. The subscription link is in the description.
Okay, this next part is a parody. It's a song. It's really well done, and so I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I don't know if it's going to tell me anything about copyright, but it's well worth listening to. And it's just in general, this whole video here that he put together is starting off by basically saying that this is a legal notice, and letting them know that they're coming. The militia is coming for this event. It might even be happening today. I know it was very close. So and maybe this is when was this from? This is from the January 12th. So I know that this is for me. It's the 14th, so it's probably like the 13th. So anyway, But this is this is telling them that they're coming, right? And whether the governor's bought 10,000 body bags, right? I think that it may end up being used for them, for those sitting at the seat of power, if they try and cause any problems with the Virginians. So, all right, so we'll go through with this. This is the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
There's been a lot of talk about protecting our right, the right to keep and bear the arms that we'll need for the fight. And while we clung to that amendment with all of our might, other rights have been withdrawn. The right to representative democracy is done. It is money that's selecting all the candidates who run. It is money buying policies that impact everyone. And we fell for the con. Tyranny just overthrew your guns, no use 'cause they are true. But you don't realize it, do you? The truth is now long gone. Our leaders passing laws that only benefit the rich. They take our last resources with a clever bait and switch. HMOs and banks and corporate CEOs that they enrich. And that's what's going on. Most voters favor tighter regulations on the banks and taxes for the billionaires, but they just say no thanks. 'Cause that, of course, is socialism. You fill in the banks, but it's you they prey upon. Don't let party platform fool ya. Excuse us for a moment while we school ya. You can't let partisanship rule ya, or the madness will go on and on and on and on. Da 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 da. Our right to privacy is gone, devices are the spies. For government surveillance, those are now the ears and eyes. They use the corporate data, no subpoenas, no surprise, and still we don't catch on. You can now be fired for expressing what you think, whether you're at work or doing dishes in your sink. Your union cannot help you, they fell prey to doublethink. They lost the marathon. You decide who's gonna rule ya. Look beyond the red and blue to find a way you can cut through the corruption that lives on. You have no right to education if among the poor, and if you try a life of debt is what you have in store. Education is related to the years you are good for, and those years are soon gone. Corporations freely do their business as monopolies. They're poisoning the planet and they do just as they please, destroying every market while they spread like a disease as they keep marching on. No longer can we just stick to the party politics due to the fact that they are out to screw ya, and that you can count on, count on, count on, count on.
Count on.
50 companies provided all the news in '84. Now there's only 6, it's 44 less than it was before. A media consensus now exists for every war, and the wars go on and on and on. We can recover from this if we wake up and get smart. It's a long, slow process, but a step is where we start. Let's ignore the menu and start choosing a la carte till the party power is gone. We're the ones who hold the power. This must be our finest hour. We're the ones we must empower, so the truth goes marching on and on and on.
Da-da-da-da. The Parody Project. There we go. Well, Tank, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. I thought I heard you. Come on in. Yeah, so
That was a very fun song. Actually, that whole rant was great.
yeah. So the whole first part though is that it's a legal notice. It starts off, and I read the first parts of it too, and then this guy also came and started going through it. But though it kind of went into some rhetoric towards the end of it, but the very first parts were all about legal notice of what they're doing. That the militia is coming to the Virginia Capitol, right? And they're going to be carrying their guns apparently, regardless of the ban that was put in place.
Well, the ban is just in the buildings, right? It's not in the
Yes.
actual Capitol itself.
Right.
So I'm sure that that creates a pretty ominous situation when you think about it, right? You have a bunch of militia surrounding your building.
Yeah.
So,
and you say that you can't bring guns inside.
yeah.
Well, if they're all there and they're treating this as a military operation against a foreign domestic enemy, right? That has taken over the state.
Oh, yeah. It is actually a foreign agent operating domestically, right? Yeah. It's definitely
The whole state is a foreign agent.
Right. That's actually
Right.
That's accurate. It's its own corporation, right?
Yeah.
That is acting. And coincidentally, that's where the United States Incorporated was actually established, right?
In Puerto Rico.
In Virginia. No. Not the original corporation that was established in Virginia.
The original corporation. Well, see, that's not my understanding, but okay.
Well,
It's a
okay, here
clarification.
I'll say this too. But I also have documentation on one in New York, like from the same time period, one in Virginia. So there probably is one in Puerto Rico too. So don't take anything I say to the bank, because every time I think I'm absolute on something, I'm almost always wrong. So, but that is where it's registered. We actually have a reference on Lawful America. We have the actual citation for it. But
Well, maybe anything could be a lot of subterfuge, right? Look over here, look over here, look over here. Oh, it's in Puerto Rico. It's in Puerto Rico. It's in Puerto Rico. But no, it's actually over here in Delaware. Or Virginia, as the case may be. So, but anyway,
the United States actually encompasses. It's so interesting because Kim told me this, but the United States encompasses all the states of the world. Actually, there's actually so I don't know if that's the same corporation. It's kind of like the United States Treasury. Well, the United States Treasury is not the American Treasury. It's the United States of the entire world's Treasury. It's the World Treasury.
Right.
So it's like things like that are so.
Well, so there's a treasury for the United States of America, whichever but then there's the other one that's the corporation one, right? They're tied into the Fed, and they're tied into the World Bank and the IMF and the Bank of International Settlements.
So it's the Department of the Treasury is the one that is for the Republic that Kim is dealing with most directly, right? But who knows? I got an update from Kim today. I kind of laid out some of the things we talked about last night. Kind of from the ground level, right? I just said, well, here's the current State of the Union that is being reported, right? That the heritage funds are going to be redeemed, and the White Spirit Boy Trust and all these different things. They're all bringing their accounts to the tables, right? To bring everything on ledger with General CWR, whatever his name is, right? And he's gonna make magic happen. So I just threw it at Kim, and she's like, "Yeah, that's all the buzz, on the streets, right?" So they're doing exactly what they continue to do, is they continue to try to hack the system because they're so resistant to the actual transition, which has really already taken place in every possible way. There's no way to escape it. But as I said last night, it's math, not philosophy. You know, it's very simple and very real. Kim even actually provided her security clearance code, right? And she put it out there public. She put it out there in the public for everyone, right? To say, here is my clearance code. It is the highest code on the planet. She's at the 64th level, you know, and whatever the system is. She has cosmic clearance. There is no one who has those clearance levels except for her. You can go into any system to verify it, and you will see her name come up. And yet we sit here and pander to people who have no power, no access to money, and they are still trying to find every possible way to prove that these other guys are right. Do anything they can to try to bring this money out.
But I think I have to correct you though. I don't think we're pandering. I think we're waiting.
We're not. No.
You said we're sitting here pandering to them. No, we're not. We're sitting here waiting for them to start pandering.
Oh, that would be. I want to be the bigger man about these things, right? Say I'm not gonna.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, But when it all comes through and we're right, I just want to be like, I don't know. I've always thought I'd be.
You want to be
humble,
humble.
but I don't know.
You want to be humble and just allow them to correct their course.
Right. Hey, like I'm going to be like, hey guys, it could happen to anybody. And I realize I'm not going to be that way. like you guys all suck and you're all fired. That's what I feel like.
Well, time for a new job at least. At least they can put in projects and get started on things that they always wanted to do.
Well, I mean, you know what? If I were to look at the resume logically, right, and I look at their qualifications and say, oh, well, I see here that you ran the entire world financial system in the ground. Nice. Also, you plan to enslave and commit genocide on a massive scale, thinking that you'd be in the 10% that would live, but you were actually going to die. So I think that qualifies you to be a ditch digger. I mean, is that a thing anymore?
Oh, actually, I've been I've been watching someone dig a ditch, actually, literally for the last week.
What are the chances?
It's right in front of me, literally. If I stand up and go take 2 steps, I could look down and I'd see there's like 2 or 3 guys digging a ditch right in front of my place there. They want to replace the electrical pole, right? And but they've been digging. This is a hole that is just maybe about 2 feet wide, right? And it goes straight down. And they've been and I don't think they're more than about 5 feet down right now. And they've been doing this for a week.
Wow.
And they're using literally a long pole, and they jam the pole down like this by hand, right? They stir up the earth, and then they bring down another long pole that has like a scoop on it, like a shovel that's been bent up, and they scoop up some dirt and they pull it to the side. Forever.
Yep. Forever. Just keep it. That's the job. That's the job.
That's the job. Yeah. So I'm listening to this. Now I know these guys are already getting paid maybe $6 a day. Something. No,
wow.
No, is that right? Yeah, something like that. About $6, maybe $7 a day, and there's 3 of them. So anyway, but 3 people were employed, I guess. But if you had if you had a machine, right, that came by, drove up, dropped the bit, went. It'd be over with. Yeah, a great sound.
Half-hour work, yeah.
Yeah, about half an hour it'd be done. Anyway, just that's. But anyway, there is ditch digging. That's why we went off the little tangent there. But yes, they do have. So we're still waiting for the people at the table. Is that what's going on? You said
the tables, yeah. Well, no. I don't think we're waiting on them. I'm just, I was reporting that back to Kim. just because whenever I get intel like that is, especially when I'm talking to somebody who's genuinely trying to help people, right? And they always start out with very secret information, in the conversation. They're like, look, can we talk on an encrypted line? And I'm like, there's no need. Don't worry. Because whatever we talk about, I'm going to put it out publicly anyway. So don't worry. So, but I've done this for years now, where all these super private conversations that people want to have, and you think that I would have less information shared with me because of it, right? But that never happens. I always get more and more and more, secret clandestine intel, because at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't put out what one side is saying or what one compartment is saying, then the other compartment never knows. Right? But as soon as you do, then they both find out and they're like, wait a minute, there's some there's some symmetry here, but this part's off, and that changes everything, right? And I got that was from General Dunford. He's the one that told me to do that. So it's like, and I've watched it, how it unravels their whole thing, right? It completely tells their story. So, which is why I'm not very popular with those guys, right? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, even now, they're just hiding. And they're desperate. Did you see Nancy Pelosi's interview on, I don't know, with Geraldo or something?
Yeah, I caught some snippets of it, but yeah, she looks even more deranged. Like she's blaming Mitch McConnell for being a Russian agent now. She's alluding to that, right? The next Russian gate is Mitch McConnell, is with the Russians. My
God! You know what? Excuse my mouth, but all I could think when I saw that, I'm like, this bitch is crazy. I didn't know what to do with myself when I saw her. I'm like, what is she saying? She said, well, one way or another, President Trump won't be, Trump won't be president next year.
That's what she said.
I'm like,
that sounds like a threat to me.
I'm like, based on what? And she was basically saying either we'll impeach him beforehand, or like we'll get him out of office beforehand. I'm like, how? What possible thing has taken place that makes her so delusional as to think, oh yeah, we got him right where we want him? Like right now, you really think you got him hemmed up against the ropes right now? Like, he's more popular than he's ever been. You have more people leaving the Democratic Party than ever. You've made a complete mockery of the entire judicial system. The impeachment system. You've made Congress look like it has absolutely no credibility. You've let it into the ground. Adam Schiff is your wingman, and your muscle is Chuck Schumer. Chuck the drag queen Schumer. Listen, you are in bad shape. You are in bad shape.
Now, why did you say, he's a drag queen? Where did that come from? Because he'd be a really ugly drag queen.
I've got to be honest. Whenever I see him, I just feel like he just reminds me of Cruella de Vil. I just feel like if I put a dress on that guy, he wouldn't even. I think he'd be more comfortable.
Let's stay out of your fantasy land here. This is not so good.
Yeah. I just made that up. There's no evidence to show.
Okay, all right. I'm just wondering. I have heard of the evidence that there's pictures with Schiff wearing Pharaoh's outfits at some of these sex parties.
I'm sure he's a big time Pharaoh. Whatever. If the Pharaoh was a flaming, effeminate, pedophile, I guess, but whatever. So, anyways, yeah, but I thought that Nancy, she said that about Trump, right? Then she said she was just randomly throwing shade on, Mitch McConnell, like, it seems like all those tie back to Putin and Mitch McConnell. Sometimes I wonder.
Sometimes I wonder. It's like, really, what are you wondering, Nancy? Can we talk about your conversations with the Ukrainians and how your son is sitting on the board of an oil company in the Ukraine?
But it's weird. It's like Geraldo Rivera is like a really long time, kind of a respected journalist, right? And you've got to think that he's sitting there going, did she really just say that? like, are you honestly bought into what you just said? You honestly believe that? And I just feel like the act is so transparent You know, it reminded me of this movie I saw years ago. And all these witches, they found some formula to live forever, but like their bodies kept breaking apart and like they like plaster kind of, and just pieces kept falling off.
I think I
That's
saw
what
that
Nancy
movie.
Pelosi
Yeah,
reminds me of.
I think I saw
Yeah.
that. They kept trying
Yeah, it was
to.
like Bette Midler and like some crazy weird movie, but like that's what Nancy Pelosi reminded me of. It's like while she's talking, I just see pieces of her falling off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think her brain already fell out.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least we know that her dementia will not affect her ability to be a Speaker of the House.
Right. Well, that's what
That
she
has
said.
proven out to be true.
Yeah.
It's proven out to be true. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, she's go down in history as the worst speaker ever. Right. That's what Trump put out. Trump is great at labeling people, right? Because it kind of sticks, whatever he says. He's
Right.
like he's the master of the schoolyard.
Yeah.
It's, I also thought
crazy.
I also thought that this is this name calling that or labeling that Trump is doing, I found is a perfect way to handle identity politics.
Ooh.
Right? Because it is identity politics from the schoolyard, right? And it's just and it's really disarming, right? And because listen, anyone that's called a racist and they're not a racist, that's a very hollow argument, right? But calling someone pencil neck, right? And everyone can look at him and say, "Oh, yeah, he's got a pencil neck." It's like
yeah, right. Sure.
There's no denying it, and it's right in front of everyone. So crazy Nancy, right? Crying Chuck Schumer, Alfred E. Newman, Pete, all these names stick, right? And really the identity politics is then put into the same perspective, right? I think it really handles identity politics pretty well.
No, I agree. Trump is really great at identifying people for what they are and just call them what it is. It's amazing, actually. He is a master brander. You don't want to get branded the wrong way with Trump.
Yeah, he said I'm good at naming things. Like this new NATO thing, like Naomi, like where he's redoing NATO now to include the Middle East.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you picked up on that, but yeah. So
no, I think that's all.
Yeah, so that's a he's remaking everything. So why not include really change everything over. If you basically make these nations connected, to each other's safety, then the U.S. doesn't have to be the police, right? So
yeah, we don't need to be part of NATO. NATO is just the UN army. It's the Rothschild army.
Right. But he's going to transform it, right, into not Rothschilds.
Right. He's going to help them, have their own. Well, anyway, hopefully prevent. I think all this is going to tie back to this global intelligence agency that you can actually see it as like part of the original plan, the Sun Tzu wheel that Kim put out, right? The GIA, and this is also the Kim has her own vision of how this will work, right?
I don't know what this. I don't know what this is. GIA. What is this?
So the GIA is, it stems off of it's like above the British intelligence and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like all the top agencies are basically fall under the GIA, which no one knows exists, right? It just happens to be on the Sun Tzu wheel, right? But this is all part of the plan. So when if you go to the Speak Project, you'll see it says I think it's labeled Kim Possible and the three at the top, right? Okay. And she shows how there's these three in the middle, and then all the stuff around the Sun Tzu wheel, right? And then all these subgroups and all the categories they would control, and then beneath them, and all the names that are underneath there, And then way down, like there's these 3 blocks of control, these 3 triangles of control, and then you down, then all the way beneath that is the Committee of 300, right? And then beneath that is where you have all, everything else that's happening now, right? So Kim's kind of like, I don't know who it is that's the boss that's going to take over, but but one of the things that's in there you see is the GIA, which is the Global Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
So you also see that in reference to the cease and desist order that Kim put out to Jesper Elden,
Right.
where she says like you no longer have any affiliation.
I
with the
remember
GIA.
now. I remember that now. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
GIA.
So, but that's a real. I mean, that is the real structure that Marduk had set up previously. That name, at least, that basically the British intelligence was under, and all the other agencies, the way we know them to be, that Marduk is in control. So basically, Kim is that's why she has access to everything, because the quantum system had access to all those things. So I'm curious to see what the structure will be, because that would include the military, kind of thing, like where you can't just go in and use propaganda, lies, and brute force to dominate a culture and destroy them, right? Like what happened in Iran, right? Because now they've been Islamatized, right? And look at the country, right? It's now acceptable. All these different things that are acceptable, horrible practices. They're barbaric practices, no matter how you cut it, right? It's not a glorified Islamic nation, right? It's like it's a place where you see in horror movies, right? It's not a place that anybody wants to be, right? Where you don't have, women can't defend themselves from being raped without being executed. I mean, it doesn't even. Most of us can't even conceive of that being a real thing,
Right.
So. This is kind of like so the United States right now is like the front lines for all this.
Oh yeah. This is really a worldwide realignment where you're on one side or the other, right? And the funny thing is the ones that are coming over. And I don't know how many completely left the Paris Accords, because that's like the dividing line for Kim, right? They leave that behind. So I don't know how many countries are on board, but we see, the ones that were labeled all the bad actors, right, are now flipping, right? The problem people have been removed. So Kim Jong Un, if you think about it, he was raised outside of Korea, right? Wasn't he? Didn't he go to England or something to get his? He was. I think he had, and he loves the westernized things. Like he loves,
Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, American basketball.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it doesn't stop there. I mean, he's even the movies, right? And he's a big fan of the movies, and so he's seen outside the bubble that was North Korea, that was created, where all the people were indoctrinated to know that it's the evil America, right? Just like in Iran, the evil America. But really, it's the great Satan, has labeled the good force on the planet as the great Satan. Right? Yeah. So it's the same tactic that the left uses, right? Accuse the other side of what you're doing. All right, so it's exactly the same magic spell. Now this is what is broken, right? This is now dissolving in front of everybody's eyes. So this reverse tactic won't work because everyone sees it right away. So you're just lying to us right in our face. It's you that are doing this. So
it is challenging though, because you have stages, right? So first is, okay, we know it's a lie, right? Like we now see it.
Right.
Now the next stage is like where you just really get disgusted with it, right? Then you feel like you have to take action, but you don't know what to do, right? And I think that's where a lot of people are in that stage before it gets to be just full on, transition and whatever, however that manifests itself, whether it's protests or takeover or the militia marching out of Virginia, the capital of Virginia. You know, which I'm actually amazed at how quickly these things have escalated over the past several months. I mean, it's really hit a fever pitch of activity all across the world. I mean, protests in Hong Kong and France, and and they're not even reporting on what things going on in like New Zealand and Australia, right? And what's going on in Iran. I mean, it's amazing what's getting out from Iran when you think about it, right? It's and you can see how this is a war against the deep state, right? The people aren't bad. The tactics being used against the people are terrible.
Right.
So to stand up to that, it takes a lot of courage. And you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to try that mess here in the U.S. You're not going to be able to, just slam people into torture them in prisons and things like that. You're not going to be able to do that here because everybody has a cell phone. Everybody's on social media. Everyone is filming everything you do.
Right.
This is the public stomping ground. This is the front lines that is, projected all over the world. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
Well, they see that everything that their whole plan is gone, right? So, they're going through the 5 stages of denial, right? Of grief, right? But the grief about the loss of their plan, right? So they deny it, right? Then they're angry about it, and then they basically are they're upset and they're in depression about it. And I think a lot of them are in that stage. They're in this depression. So it's called Trump derangement syndrome.
You think you're still in denial? Because I know the final stage is acceptance, right?
Yeah. Next step is bargaining. Right?
Oh, they're bargaining now. I think they're bargaining.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't heard Nancy bargaining too much. I mean, I guess she capitulated to Mitch McConnell, right? But she's slapping him in the face on the way. So that's kind of still denial, right? So, but
did she finally deliver the letters of impeachment?
I don't think so.
Jeez.
I think she said next week. Well, that would be this week. So I don't know if they've arrived yet or not. But it's Monday I don't know what day she's planning on dropping them off. I think there was one of the congressmen did a little video and said, well, this is how long it would take, and he walked from Nancy Pelosi's office over to the Senate, right? It took like a minute and a half.
You can do it, Nancy. You can do it.
Yeah. So.
Well, they're trying to. It's so funny to me, the hypocrisy, right? I mean, everybody's got to be like, come on. Even the Democrats have got to be like, wait a minute. Are they really trying to stall this now in promoting that there's that they want a fair trial? That's how it has to be. It's like, wait a minute, fair trial?
So
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So it looks, Trump wants a long trial. I think they may go that route because Steve Bannon is basically he's championing the idea of a long trial to really pull this out and expose the whole thing, everything, and but the Senate is going to want to make it go away quickly because the Senate is also implicated, right? So there's a lot of people, right?
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
So they I mean, hey, they're part of the government. They're part of the swamp, right? So they're not. It's not. They're not hands. Their hands are not clean. So I think that they need to get on board though with what. With allowing this all to be exposed, and it is, and there's going to be senators that are going to be out of this, right? And they'll be carried away in handcuffs, right? So there'll be a big change happening, and I think we're going to start seeing it. I think that we're going to get the long trial. I think we're going to see Hunter. Where's Hunter popping up, right? And say and. He's going to go right into the trail, and they're going to pull up all of these other things that are going to be all the other countries where Biden took money from, They're going to get into their bank accounts. Hunter's bank account is going to be exposed, right?
Yeah.
In this.
I hear they're going to have a. I hear they're going to have a sitcom. All the kids from the the different corrupt politicians. The Pelosi kids and Hunter Biden. And it's going to be that deep state shenanigans. They're all going to live in the same apartment together, have their own reality show. It'd be great.
Oh,
The next stage.
Yeah, all from behind bars. It'd be a great prison show.
Yeah. Great prison show. Yes. So that'll be interesting. I would like to see that. I would like to actually see immediate action take place. I would like to see the impeachment trial to be actually so heated and so real, where it's such a debacle when you really think about, like, what do you even? How dare you? There's not even a charge here, right? And have them totally flip the script where the military has to come in and it turns into a tribunal, and everyone who is committing crime is like, this is treason. All of you are guilty of treason, and everyone is guilty of treason. Exactly what it says in the Constitution is that they are executed and hung and left in the square. Right? That's what it says in the Constitution, by the way.
Right.
It's the actual, penalty for treason. So, because they are. Think how many people have died at the somebody brought something to me, like, how we were talking about, like, if you haven't been involved in, like, harming anyone. Well, here's the problem. The negligence, the turn the other cheek methodology, knowing of the horrific crimes that have been taking place.
I mean, I was just following orders type of excuse?
Yeah, right. All that stuff. It's like, no, every one of them who's allowed that knowingly to go on.
So
they're all guilty.
Dan Bongino, his latest broadcast, he was upset about this guy, Dave Chris, who is the new inspector for the FISA abuse, right? That's by their internal. It's an internal by the court. The court is setting this guy to investigate, right? The problem is that this guy he writes a op-ed or something like that in a legal journal, basically saying, well, it's already been shown by the Mueller report and the Inspector General report that there was Russian collusion, and that the Republicans are just this claims of hoax are it's just a claim of but it's a hoax by the Republicans, right? So you can see that this guy is not going to be giving a fair and impartial report on what's going on with the FISA system, right? So if we're expecting that the deep state, all of their careers, all of their lives, everything is all tied up in their whole, and they're keeping this going, this system, right? That they're suddenly going to, like, jump on board with and do the right thing. Don't bet on it, right? These guys these guys have to be pulled out, screaming and kicking, right? It's they have to be like surgery, with all their tentacles, that have to be removed, but it has to be done.
Their tentacles, yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Good point.
You're gonna have to sever a tentacle, remove it with tweezers or maybe even pliers. You gotta pull this out full force.
I would love to see some of them really crack up and go into, like, the way they really think of themselves. Like, I would love to see, like, Adam Schiff getting arrested and going, "You can't arrest me, I'm the Pharaoh," right?
Yeah, something like that.
Losing his mind, right? That'd be great.
Wait a minute, can I put this in my screenplay? I think Hollywood's going to buy it.
Right. Because if you think about it, too, it's like they've all been told they're special.
Right.
All these different, I'm not saying across the board. I mean, there's a lot of good people there. So I mean, in the midst of all this, right? And I'm sure, and to be honest, I am somewhat, empathetic or sympathetic with these situations, because I can imagine, you finally get to Congress, right? You got all types of hope, and you're trying to do good things, right? And all of a sudden, everybody around you is corrupt as hell.
I could, you could see the corruption of Adam Schiff in this document that he read that was supposed to be the transcript, right? Right. So he reads this, and and he says, I'm going to only tell you this 8 times, right? And
Yeah.
and I want you to make up dirt, right? Now, doesn't this sound like a really bad screenplay? Don't you know that this is actually what Adam actually wrote, and he's like thinking he wrote like the best thing ever, right? And everyone's going to eat this up, right? And he's going to get so much
Right.
praise for it. But in reality, Trump, made him eat crow. Made him eat this script.
That was the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen take place. And think about it. That says a lot, right? That's the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen in government. A total misrepresentation of the facts. I do think he should be. I mean, it's not a place. Like, there's a transcript. Why are you reading something in metaphor? Or, like what are you doing right now? Right? Like, you're using hyperbole to get your point across. Like, this doesn't make sense. So you're right. His total articulation is hilarious. I'm only going to say he actually even used like an old school, like kind of Cagney kind of accent.
Right.
I'm only going to tell you this one time.
Right.
I'm only going to tell you this.
Yeah.
7 times.
See, I'm only going to tell you this one time. See, that's it. You're
7
gonna
times.
get it.
I need you to dig up dirt on my opponent. Get it real good. It's like, are you serious? Like, are you really doing this right? Are you doing this bit right now? Like, you realize you're actually in Congress right now, right?
Well, the thing is that he was bred for this, right? He's family, right? They've held this position that he was going to be in government, and in government, it's all a script, right?
Sure.
Right, and wag the dog, and so he takes up becoming a screenwriter, right? Because he's going to have to write the play, right? Because they're going to be he's writing the play for what the public sees, right? And so that's what his position was going to be all about, writing the play. So that's why they go in. And where's he from? He's from Los Angeles area, right? And everyone there is a screenwriter. So. And now the thing is that it's so distorted. What he thinks is real, right? And how low he thinks of us is because he thinks that people would buy what he's selling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's so bought into the character that he's developed, right?
Right.
I mean, it really is that. It's amazing when you think about it. I mean, he's so bought into it that there's no other option.
Right.
It's like this is who I'm playing right now.
Right.
It's who I am now. It's really that's why they love actors, right? People that can just throw themselves into a role and play a part, right? And that's what they're all doing. They're just pretending to be something they're not.
Yeah, they had some experimenting. They had these early actors. They tried to get into politics. They probably convinced them, thought they could control them. One of them's name was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Right? And he was a Democrat. And he said, this is nuts. But yeah, I'm going to be in politics, but I'm not going to, the Democrats are going to destroy the country.
Jeez. It's so strange, all of it. It just makes me cringe a little bit, to be honest. That we're all,
right.
If there's anybody, like I guess I really struggle that people actually believe this at this point. I mean, because it seem just like at some point, like the movie The Sixth Sense. Right?
Sure.
In the Sixth Sense, you have this scene, right, where the little boy is like leading Bruce Willis upstairs, and he goes upstairs, and they're at a funeral, and you find out the mother was poisoning the little girl,
right,
until she died, right? And then so they're all there mourning, everybody's sad, and then this little boy comes downstairs with the video and gives the father. He puts the video in, and everybody is watching it,
right?
But the mother's on the other side of the room, just playing her part,
right?
just pretending to be, oh, I'm a grieving mother. It's very sad.
But the whole energy changes, right, in the whole room, right? As
Yeah,
they know.
and you see, and everybody kind of turns, and he's like, you see the man, his heart's already broken, right? And then he looks at his wife and says, what did you do? Like, what the hell am I living with, right?
Right.
Like, and that's what I feel like all of us feel like right now as we're watching this debacle take place, is we should be looking back. I mean, especially people who are married to it, right? Like you're married to the Democratic Party or the views of the super liberal.
Oh, that's it. That's a perfect. It's a perfect scene to take that scene, and take that woman that's at the funeral, the mother, right, and then pop Nancy Pelosi's head on there, put Hillary Clinton's head on there, put AOC's head on there, and to say that they're feeding everybody poison.
Right, because we know these movies, right? Especially M. Night Shyamalan, who I think is brilliant, right?
Right.
But his movies, they're very telling of what is actually happening, right? So think about how that one scene in the movie, it's like, this is what they've been doing. The people that you trust for the welfare and the care of your children, like doctors, right? Like the government, like child protective services, they've been poisoning, all of our children, right? Us included, and things like that. And the last movie he had, the whole movie, you think there's going to be a heroic ending, and it ends up being the cabal at the end, who takes everybody out. Like the whole time you think the villain is somebody else, and then the cabal just steps in. And they're like, well, we had to do this for the better good of everyone, because we can't have people with superpowers roaming around.
Right.
So that's what I think they're doing. They're constantly trying to suppress our superpowers, right? And we don't see them coming. We don't see them coming. I mean, usually. But right now, that's the advantage we have. First time, we see them coming, right?
Right.
So
the veil has been lifted. That's the whole thing. The whole part of this waking up process to wake up everyone. I mean, for the rest of us, we've got to get the popcorn and watch, right? Because we already know what the plot is. We already know what's been going on. We've seen the previous 5 seasons of the cabal and how they drain us. So we know what's going on, and we're just waiting for the other people to catch up on the previous seasons. So it's amazing, but that we have to wait, but we really have no choice. We have to get everyone on board, and then we only get this one time to make this happen, right? Because we have to. They've picked up their pace, right? Everything that's going on right now, even everything that's in the Constitution about us, being able to have the rights to arm ourselves against the government. They have to act quickly now, because they know that we're waking up and that we're now taking a stand. I started with this guy's legal notice, from Virginia. Right, this is really the battleground. I mean, we all were thinking, oh, it's going to be California and New York, right? But I think that's the head fake, Yeah, they're doing their stuff there, but it's more incremental. But the real battleground ends up being here, where we have the governor that was okay with infanticide. Who was a doctor.
Yeah.
It was a doctor who said, oh yeah, we give the mother the choice to kill the child after it's been born.
Right. The same guy who wasn't he also like a blackface in high school or something like that?
Yep. And so those two things combined, right? He's still in office, right? The media doesn't come down on him.
He got voted in at that time. So in the midst of that scandal, he actually got voted into another term. So that was rigged.
Right.
Why would you? There really has to be. It has to be in this order, right? You cannot restore the republic if you don't first revitalize the people.
Right.
The people have to be revitalized so that they can have confidence not in the government, but in themselves to be able to stand that they are the authority over the government.
Right.
Nobody even believes that or realizes it. You know, we've been, we've got a formidable force at this point at Lawful America that is growing every day.
Yeah.
And as this force grows, more and more really qualified people are coming forward, right? From all over the country, they're coming together, and so our knowledge base, the density, the quality of information that we're getting, right? The quickness and speed with which we understand how to use the Constitution instantaneously to win any case. To show, any case, I'm saying, that where people are being wrongfully mistreated, where the Constitution is being violated, where on a large, massive scale, which, this is all we deal with, is big, huge atrocities, crimes against humanity that are taking place every day against this group that thinks they have that right? And they're so small, they're getting smaller every day, and we are getting bigger and stronger every single day. And it's amazing. In this, what I find is it's so many things they're guilty of. There's so many ways that they just completely ignore what's written, completely ignore our agreements. What we talk about all the time with Kim and how there's an agreement in place and that they don't do it. What they do is they try to take theirs, their piece, right? And then they never come through on their end. Over and over and over and over again. Parasites. So I'm excited to see this whole revitalization. I'm really excited to see what happens out in Virginia. I would like to go out and support them.
Yeah. It is fascinating. So that we're at that point, and I think that I think he was talking about Trump putting an executive order there. I think that's really a more appropriate to have like a proclamation than an executive order, because it's more or less what it has to say. So listen, we're just reaffirming that you can't take away the rights of people that are in the Constitution. These are not real laws, right? And people are standing up and they're in law, doing lawful assembly as militia. You can't interfere. Well, and I think that's you don't need an I think one thing that I've really come to embrace, right? By giving credence to these things as if we have to do anything with them to say, we need an executive order. No, we don't. We don't need an executive order. This is the Constitution. Right.
Keep in mind, the president himself works for us, right? All of the people employed by the government, who is their employer? We are. We pay their bills.
Yeah. So he
right?
could make he has only say over federal forces in that, right? So I don't know what he could say that would say to give support to the militia, right? But he could do something along those lines to reorder some of the resources at his disposal to back them up, like I don't know. I usually don't know. But
you can. I would say this: you'd be really hard pressed, in my opinion. Because we are. Think about we are in a civil war of sorts, right? And it's a little bit disorganized at the moment. But if you think about it, for like the deep state Democrats, right? When they're talking about, or the deep state on either side, I guess, they'll often support Antifa. Alexandria Cortez went up and bailed out members of Antifa, as I'm sure she was ordered to do, right? So you got to think. So Antifa is a militia. That's what they are, right? Now, they're a militia for dark reasons, and I say they're a vigilante militia. But we can't allow a group like that to exist here, and then take an organized militia that is using the Constitution as the basis for what they're doing, right, and defending their constitutional rights. But you're going to allow Antifa to continue to exist and allow them to throw bricks into crowds of old ladies and bully old, veterans in wheelchairs, and these things. These are not. I mean, these are things they do every day, and they pride themselves on, right? These these aren't even things in warfare. The tactics they use aren't even. You're attacking civilians with dirty bombs and things like that. I mean, now they've kind of phased out, it seems right now, right? But they're kind of one of those groups that they could just be planning their next strike, right? They went underground like Fight Club, and now they're preparing, right?
Well, I think that there's probably some waking up among the people of their ranks, right, to say, what are we doing, right? Because when things don't make sense, right, and people start like trying to put it together, said, why are we hurting these old grandmothers?
Right.
It's like, really? Like, this is because we're calling them fascist. And by the way, what about all these similarities between our flag and this, and we're doing the same tactics because this is what they're telling about us. It starts to seep in after a while. So I think they may have some problems with their ranks.
Yeah, I'm sure that, and I think that's something they probably should phase out. But I mean, it should. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I think that's a good sign too. When people are finally like, what the hell are we doing? Right. Come on. Like, do we really believe in this? Are we really marching on this? This is what we stand for. We're calling. It's like, how does? I mean, it reminds me of after Vietnam, right? Where during Vietnam, there were women would come out of the woods and a American soldier, a baby. And of course, what man is going to take a baby and hurt it? Right? Takes the baby, goes to change the diaper, there's a grenade inside, and his whole troop gets killed, right? And so the surviving veterans come back to Vietnam, and they're getting spit on by protesting hippies, calling them baby killers. It's like that's what this kind of behavior reminds me of. The complete disrespect for what these guys went in to do, right?
Right.
They've been used and manipulated and put in positions that are terrible and heartbreaking. I've talked to a lot of guys about this. Terrible situation. They went in honorable to defend the country, to do something with their life that they knew would always have value, would be long lasting, right? And then get put in horrible situations. It's like now's the time for the militia veterans to really be at peace with all that, and really have a chance to actively defend the country they went overseas to fight for.
Right. Well, before, it was really a cabal plot, right? Everyone was part of these actions were part of a cabal plot. We didn't know what was going on, right? We're listening to what the politicians are telling us.
Right. And that's why everything existed in compartments. That's why if you are out there today keeping secrets for the cabal, or who you think is a very ancient mystic Chinese or Egyptian, whatever, you're keeping some very, very carefully kept secret, you are being deceived by the cabal. Because right now is a time where everything should be coming out. We should be putting out the truth as much as possible in everything we do. We should demonstrate it with our actions, our conduct, our behavior. We should be love, truth, honesty, integrity. All of these qualities should just be emanating from everything we do. Because now is a time where we get to define what we want to be. We lay the foundation for the future to be. It's amazing to me when I talk to people that are still doing it. That they still think that they know something that no one else knows. And this gentleman I spoke to last night, he's like, well, I don't know if I can tell you this. He started telling me there was nothing he couldn't tell me anything I didn't already know. Right? I mean, I'm just saying in this particular conversation, I'm sure he knows something about baseball or something, I don't know, but in this conversation he didn't. And I'm like, and you could probably get all that information from the last 300 shows you and I did that we put out every single day. We talked about all those things. It wasn't anything new.
Right.
So they have not come up with a single new way to deceive and to kill us. They're doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
So, please, for the love of God, somebody take them out. Just get these people out of there so we can transfer money and start revitalize the people. Let us revitalize the people. For the love of God.
It is happening. We're here already, so it just.
I know. Yeah.
We're in a. Or like we're just like waiting outside the movie theater with our ticket in hand. We want to see the next movie.
But I feel like I'm waiting in line outside the movie theater. The movie's about to start, but in the meantime, like there's a gang war that's broken out, right? People are throwing like Molotov cocktails at us. It's like, come on, just open the door, right? Go.
Right.
So, but that's me. That's just me.
Yeah,
but Dan, that's all I got, man.
I think we're good. We're good for today. We'll wind it down now and have our. We'll come back tomorrow with a whole new broadcast here on the front line. So be sure to subscribe. Actually, there is some subscription bump. It's not before it was one up a day, one down a day, one up a day, one down a day. Now it's 2 or 3 up.
Yeah, we just hit 7,000 on the Steep project. That's a pretty big couple of weeks. So we're making progress.
Yeah. We're doing good.
Hey man, have a great night. Oh hey wait, Dave, didn't you launch today? Did I miss that?
The launch?
Did you launch the coins?
Well, there's one final little issue we're having a problem with. That's the email. Basically, the verification emails and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So but we did test with the coin, and that's all working just fine. It's just a matter of working out an email system. So it's like changing over the system to something else. I guess is for the email confirmations, and so you reset your password, that kind of thing. So
I got you.
So it's always one more little thing. But here's the other thing: manifestations, the power of manifestations. And I've said this for forever. I usually took off for vacation December 15th to January 15th because you can't get anything done during that time. So don't even try. So it is now for me the 14th. So 15th is tomorrow. So I imagine tomorrow or by the next day, 15th on the other side of the planet, it's going to be happening. So, all right. We'll catch you tomorrow, Tank, and have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye for now.